Well, I think I've been rotting in the cave for a bit too long. This is me. Currently is February 15th, Saturday, 2:41 p.m. Beijing time. Hello. For those who knows me, hi, and for those who doesn't, my name is Guang Yi. And I want to share a story with you, if I may. I've been sketching and doodling for all my life. And I went to VFS in Vancouver to pursue 2D animation. And it took me about 3 years, even though I did that's not important. And not important details. Unimportant details. Anyways, I learned drawing at a school, and then I was also doodling my whole life. But just a week ago, I finally did a painting that I profoundly love. I've never ever appreciated anything that comes out of my hands. I always feel like there's something to be improved, to be worked on, but it's just never good enough. It just has this sense of urgency that if it's not good enough, then I can't publish it, that I cannot claim it, own it even. But this one, it finally stirred this feeling of pride? No, not pride. I don't know. It feels like I'm finally satisfied with what I came up with. A little bit of personal history time. Some memories that I do not share with almost anybody. But I feel like it's important to share it now. It's it's related to how I came up with all of this. So as I mentioned, I did doodle throughout my whole life. And I remember that when I was in primary school, me and my two very good friends at the time, we used to, I started this like fake clothing brand in a little notebook, and we would pass it around drawing new clothing ideas, like tiny little doodles of t-shirts and pants and shoes, bags, whatever. We also have our own logo. We have our own price range for what we're putting out, and like the amount of this and that we need to produce. Like it's all in our head, but it was really fun, and it never became anything. At the time, no one knows about like Vogue, runway. It wasn't our end goal to become like actual successful fashion designers, but it's just the process of having this fantasy of creating something that's completely our own, I guess. That was really fun. And through that, I kind of discovered that doodling is really stress relieving for me, even as a child. And but I grew up in this, I guess, general environment where only academic success is appreciated. And my parents put a lot of emphasis on the academic side of my life. So one event kind of changed the whole thing. And I still remember it. It was kind of traumatic. It was very traumatic, to say the least. It was one of my 5th or 6th grade finals exam. I was like 11 or 12 years old at the time. During the last 30 minutes of the test, I thought I finished. So I started doodling on the desk. It wasn't on a notebook or anything. on the desk because it's easy to clean it off. I started drawing like a petite figure with like beautiful dress and fancy headdress and whatever. It was fun, and I made the mistake of showing it to the girl sitting next to me during the exam, which is kind of, I know it's not something that you're supposed to do during an exam. I was young, okay? I was young and naive. So I showed it to her, and I didn't like show her any of the answers or ask for answers of the text questions or anything. It's very important to tell you guys that I did nothing wrong other than, I guess, showing her a drawing. And then after the test ended, this girl, for reasons beyond my knowing, she went to our class teacher, which is who is kind of a bitch of a person. She told our class teacher that, you know, Shen Guangyi, she was not paying attention for the exam. She was doodling on the desk. It wouldn't have meant anything, but I happened to I can completely just disregard 2 tiny questions on the exam paper. Like, I left them blank because I didn't see them, because like subconsciously or whatever, I didn't see them. So all of a sudden, they worth like 2 points out of 100. All of a sudden, this became a big mistake. And so this teacher called my mom and was like, your child did this. And she was drawing. She was not paying attention to the exam. And, you know, you should do something. So then I remember my mom got so angry, and she made me choose 2 paths. One, I would go back to school, call and apologize to the teacher, and to swear to never draw again. Or 2, I abandon going to school altogether, and my educational level would be just paused at grade 6 or 5. I forgot which one. But I would just pause right there and go to pursue art, like drawing, for the rest of my life. I would not be permitted to go back to school. And I was terrified. And I don't think you should leave this decision to an 11-year-old child. And I don't think I deserve such a big reaction either. And for those who doesn't know my parents, I will have to explain, like, in their mind, they give you 2 options, but there is one correct one. And if you choose the other one, there's something pretty horrible waiting on the other side. So I always knew this. I grew up with them. So I chose the one that's obviously, like, what they want me to choose. To, like, call and apologize to my teacher and to swear to never draw again. So that's exactly what I did. I remember crying and calling my teacher and be like, I'm so sorry. I drew a little figure on the desk and I was not checking my exam papers. So yeah, and then I ended up, well, pausing all activities related to sketching or doodling because I knew that was not allowed. I don't want to get caught a second time. So that was that. And when I became older teenager, like during the years where I first had access to the internet, I was also very keen on following artists, and I just feel like a certain pull from my heart towards them. Like, I envy their freedom of being able to draw whatever they like, and to be able to draw so beautifully and to express in such a way. And I always feel like I wish that could be me. And it did happen eventually. Like, I mean, I'm obviously here, I'm showing you a drawing that I like, because like after I graduated from university, I decided to give it a shot. Um, and at this point, my parents, they don't remember anything about this 11, 12-year-old me incident at school at all. And they ended up being more supportive than I could ever imagine. And they actually went on board with this whole like, I want to study animation thing. So it all kind of worked out. And I'm sharing this story not because I want everybody to like listen to it and be like, oh, poor girl, poor you weren't allowed to learn how to draw. You were so unjustly punished. That wasn't the point. As I realized as I got older that all of my personal experience and past history, however severe the trauma I thought they were just simply my path. At the time, it was quite horrible being forced to make that choice, but to think about it now, I think the point is that the like the nuance in the story is that I get to not be trapped in technicality. That's like the very subtle blessing in disguise in this whole thing is that I've noticed that people who grew up being educated in arts, at least in my surrounding, like my environment, they would focus on the academic traditional style of drawing, and not because they want to, but because that was the only thing available to them. Uh, like parents want results, and art is not about chasing results. Art is about expression, is about exploration, is about taking down obstacles and fear. It's not about you have to draw with like as similar to reality as possible. There's a certain like appeal to those kind of art, but for me, that's not what I'm going to be. That's not what I'm interested in. That's just not who I am. And it's good that before in my formative years, I had the opportunity to not go down that route of academic traditional drawing, and instead focusing on my like school stuff and explore my options outside of being an artist and learning important skills like critical reading, critical thinking, whatever. And when I eventually, as an adult, want to go back and explore art again, I have this, I have other knowledge, information, and experience available to me that I would have disregarded if my parents were like supportive of my art journey from the beginning. And I have to say that I am grateful for that. Like the child me who went through that like traumatic moment, I definitely have to go back and comfort her and tell her that this is like not tell her that this is all for the best, like you're suffering, yeah, suck it up. No, but it's more like I want to go and tell her that no, what you been through is not what you deserved. If you were truly handled by supportive parents, they would have not make such a tough choice between all or nothing. They would help you with building your art experience like step by step while helping you with your school stuff. Like you don't have to make that choice. And also at the same time, you did nothing wrong. Like nothing you did was inherently like evil, devastatingly disgusting. Like that's just something that kids do. Like when we're stuck in a exam that we can't get out of early, um, like we'll just find ways to entertain ourselves. That's not a crime. And the fact that I skipped 2 questions is not a crime either. It just happens. Like even grown-ups makes mistakes like that, and there's nothing to be so angry about. And you don't deserve what you went through. But I would also like to stand on the perspective that I now stand. Like all of those things that I went through as a child and teenager and young adult, that's all necessary. Like I wouldn't be me if I didn't went through all that stuff. And I know like a person like me who was always like kind of a perfectionistic, um like anxious, shame driven person, toxic shame driven person, if I went down the path of art too early, I would have been stuck in technicality. I would have been pursuing like drawing realness and likeness over actual, real, authentic expression. And shame is something that I needed to solve, like through even more effort. That's something like we can dive into maybe in a future episode. But in general, it's just like, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Alright, guys, that's the end of the first episode ever of my YouTube channel. And thank you so much for tuning in, and see you next week for the second one. Bye bye. Have a wonderful day.